We're going live to Venezuela as the Republic operation to safeguard the security of the upcoming elections on Sunday is on the way. Let's listen.
At the order of where the Republic operation is there to begin a deployment, and so we have deployed personnel of the Interior Ministry, of the Education Ministry, personnel of PDVSA, all the entities that have come here participating, the only objective to coordinate all logistics aspects to have ready over 500 polling stations and thousands of tables for the Venezuelan people to be able to express in a sovereign way, in a peaceful way, with the only element that Venezuelans, men and women, have to vote, the right to vote. So for the National Electoral Council, we invite the Venezuelan people to participate, to go to the polls massively. So all is set, and so we have been working tirelessly for Sunday to have an electoral party, an active participation, an active turnout of Venezuelans to strengthen democracy, to continue teaching lessons to the world that Venezuela is a country that wants to advance in peace, that wants to deepen its democracy at peace, that wants to transfer democracy to the people in a direct way as we have been doing it. So I congratulate the Republic operation for all the support provided in each of the electoral processes, as it was the process since February until April, and so now the process of May 25, and so we will have elections on June to elect lawmakers to the National Assembly and to the Legislative Council as it is stipulated by the Constitution. So the Venezuelan people and the National Electoral Council and the Venezuelan families, authorities, and national and regional directors, all deployed nationwide, invite you to participate, invite you to strengthen democracy, and so we see on Sunday as of 6 a.m. at the polling stations. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.
We were watching live the statements from electoral authorities as they were announcing that from a logistic point of view, all is set and ready for Sunday's legislative and regional elections, as all the polling stations, all the corresponding authorities, all is set and ready for Venezuela to go to the polls on this Sunday, this historic Sunday, as the Venezuelan people will continue to vote and continue to reaffirm its commitment to peace and the right to develop. Let's continue to listen to statements.
Sovereignty and the Minister of the Popular Power for Defense, Bachelor, and the Ombudsman Office, and General and Commander-in-Chief Antonio Lares, Strategic Commander of the Bolivarian Armed Forces, Dr. Carlos Quintero, Vice President of the National Electoral Council, senior officials of the Bolivarian Armed Forces, senior officials of all military present, all people present, generals of the CFAN, compatriots, journalists, and special guests. Today is a very important day for our Venezuelan homeland. Always we place the times of our history without forgetting what implies the geopolitics, the historical context, the importance of our country within the framework of international relations, and obviously what it implies, its impact and the advance of the civic participatory protagonist process of the revolution that initiated Commander Hugo Chavez, and I ask a big applause to Hugo Chavez, who was the one who promoted this stage of Venezuela, which Venezuela feels honored on this civic military police union, and so that it has continued in a very sensible and brilliant way by the president of the state, Nicolas Maduro Moros, a time which has been very harsh for all national institutions amid harassment, menaces, permanent menaces, over 1,000 cohesive measures searching that Venezuela changes the course of progress, of patriotic consensus in defense of our sovereignty, in defense of our Bolivarian ideals, in defense of our nationalism, in defense of our anti-imperialism. And so they have not achieved to advance that enemy so brutal that we can see clearly its real identity by watching what they have been doing in the innocent people of Gaza, which has been exterminated at such a high level that today, byproduct of bombings, of extermination, of the medical population, of even the medical professionals, of bombing medical facilities. So it is estimated that 15,000 children will die in Gaza, result of the massacre that occurred there. And so they said that there is not going to need to launch more bombs, because they have already ended with hospitals, with physicians, with nurses. And so there we can see the real face of the enemy that have been faced by Venezuela. Only in that place of the Middle East, what they wanted to do at Lebanon, Yemen, Syria, and so there have been arising the outrage of the international community, and so Venezuela has been victorious ahead of all these conspiracies, of all these coup d'etats, attempts of coup d'etats and assassination attempts that all implied the essays, the rehearsals of the hybrid war and the consequences, in which the issue of social media, the cognitive war, the use of violence, the use of which is atypical and immoral, of the social media to transform the good in bad and the bad in good. All of it has been rehearsed in Venezuela as in any country in the world, and so we could say today, after having defeated them in a clear way previous July 28th and after July 28th, when during that stage, trust me, I have really studied it thoroughly, so they have made the efforts of years. What they have done in 20 years, the evil to overthrow a constitutional government, and they prepared previously to 28 after and during. And so where we are, who is victorious? The people of Venezuela, the heroic people of Venezuela, showed that they could not pursue that plan of bloodshed of our country using the alibi of the elections, using the alibi of going to the polls, being in the elections, campaigning, that they will say that there was electoral fraud. And so why do they submit to these elections? And so this opposition leader, who has been used in the worst style and who has been just get rid of by the enemy and so his things and the things that he represents stink. And the unnamed one, the Corina Machado, is worst. And so each of the fans of them, you don't know if they are possessed by demons or by artificial intelligence to just transmit violence, hate and crime. Meanwhile, see what happened, the re-election of President Nicolás Maduro on July 28th, and now almost a year passed by, and so we could say that in May, next Sunday, there's gonna be elected, abided by constitution and law, governors, lawmakers to the Legislative Council, parliamentarians to the National Assembly, to renew the public powers of this country in function to give a higher scope to our democracy, to the participation, to advance in function of what implies a climate of coexistence of political stability, which hurts so much the enemies of the homeland. They would want to have a bloodshed since July 2024 till January 2025, and so here we are. We stand by, we are firm, and so led by the President of the Republic, building up the global diplomacy with actors that are fundamental for global peace and rebuilding our economy, our sovereignty, to reach the best progress of our people. So the prosecutor's office contribute to it by making justice, defending human rights, peace. And so for this deployment, Citizen Commander-in-Chief Vladimir Padrino Lopez, we have at your service all our resources to you. So this deployment with 24 attorney generals with their regional halls, 15 national attorneys, general attorneys, and 864 regional attorney generals, for a total of over 1,000 officials to guarantee the good march of this strategic election at the National Assembly and governors that will advance within our participatory, protagonist, constitutional and revolutionary democracy. So count on us, compatriots of the Bolivarian forces and police powers, and we will continue defeating. We will continue to triumph. We will continue to triumph, and that have made the whole world to look at these heroic people of Simón Bolívar. Thank you very much.
We're watching live from Caracas the official deployment of the Republic Plan. As different authorities have already made the announcement. First, we heard the Vice President of the Electoral Council announcing that on the side of the electoral authorities, all is setting ready of its logistics for the upcoming elections on Sunday. Then we followed the statements of the Attorney General of the Republic, Darby William Saab, who also said that the Public Ministry is full and ready and deployed to ensure the well development of these elections. Let's continue to listen to more statements.
General-in-Chief Vladimir Padrino Lopez, Vice President of Defense and Sovereignty, Minister of Defense, and General-in-Chief Domingo Hernandez Lares, Strategic Commander of the Bolivarian Forces, Dr. Carlos Quintero, Vice President of the National Electoral Council. Dear directors and commanders of security entities of the police of guaranteeing security, senior officials, generals that made up the Bolivarian Armed Forces, Mr. Generals of the CIOFAN, senior officials, and all of you troops, each of the militia men and militia women that are just participating in this process to guarantee security and participation of the citizens, dear journalists, guests, all of you, special guests, people of Venezuela. After several months of preparation and under the supervision of the National Electoral Council, we are just ready for the electoral party, for the national party in the whole republic, in which there's gonna be the participation of every Venezuelan citizen, accompanied by Venezuelans who were born in the Guayana Esequiba, to elect that governor, man or woman, in this land, in each of the states. Besides governors, we are gonna elect the legislators, men and women of each state, that will be in charge of the regulations of coexistence in each of the states. In turn, lawmakers will be elected at the national level, lawmakers of the National Assembly that are not in charge of legislation but also of monitoring, controlling among all powers to carry on the development plan of the nation in terms of economy and society, a plan in defense of the Venezuelan family. That's why we say it is a popular party, a party of the Venezuelan family. Each of you is gonna take care of this party, that everything goes well alongside Venezuelan citizens that are just participating in the organization, and that now they are going to express directly in this party of the Republic with you all. So we must take care from our families, from each of the communes of each community to respect your opinions. And so we are at the brink of Sunday, which there's gonna be a whole deployment in each education facility. We must explain the importance of respect to each other, to express and participate actively in all public affairs. This is a task for each of the families, because that's why we participate in this democratic party. So from the Ombudsman office, we have been carried out workshops in the 24 states. We just missed to advance a little further in that, in the participatory, in the active participation promoting democracy. We participate in the drill organized by the National Electoral Council to just transmit the regulations in this process in each of the states. Besides workshops and the drill, we visited over 400 polling stations, and so we will accompany the people, each of the people that be required to guide them from each of the states. That deployment that is going to be permanent during the whole week, to just guide and to face any situation that can be presented, that any situation. And so all the power states are going to be there, and so side by side with each family. That's why we must explain in every school this process, the importance of participating, and the importance of democracy. We must value democracies to begin from children, the importance of participation in the own family, and the respect and the opinion of everyone, to build up together this great nation in which we are living now, our Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Therefore, I want to commend you for the commitment you have in this process, and in this daily, your daily commitment to take care of every person, because and the most vulnerable, the elderly, or the ones who are just under some disease. And so to look after the most vulnerable people, that is the task for all of us. Thank you very much for your commitment, and let's leave this party with a lot of joy and participation.
So we were listening to the statements from the Ombudsman office, as they are also going to be deployed all over the national territory, alongside the Venezuelan people as they go to the polls this Sunday to elect their representatives, the National Assembly, and also the regional representatives. An historic election that will take place this Sunday, and the guarantee, the mission has been set. We've heard from the different authorities, the Attorney General, and also from the electoral authorities, that all is ready, and during the week everything is going to be accompanied. Let's listen to the statements of the Defense Minister.
Authorities that accompanies us: Dr. Tarek William Saab, Attorney General and President of the Republican Council of our Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela; Dr. Alfredo Ruiz, Ombudsman; and Dr. Gustavo Vizcaíno, Comptroller of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. We want to greet the authority of the ruling entity of this process, the whole family of the National Electoral Council, represented by Dr. Hector Quintero, Vice President of the National Electoral Council. I want to greet all my siblings of the Bolivarian Armed Forces, the senior officials, generals, dear siblings of the just commander of the intelligence service, and Douglas Rico, Santiago Serviña from the Bolivarian police, and representatives of the popular power. Well, to all of you, thank you very much. The civic military police union make us very strong to face always what we are willing to face to keep this country as we see it today. Dear senior officials, National Guards, militiamen and militia women, journalists, all friends of you. First of all, I ratified the greetings to our President and Commander-in-Chief, Nicolás Maduro Moro. This is an act authorized by him to, let's say, initiate the final process, because the whole process since it was installed, the logistics committee, the Dr. Quintero and the National Electoral Council has been accompanied by the Bolivarian Armed Forces, and several months have passed by, and we cannot see the fact of these 5 coming days. It is a great process of planning and deployment. It is a great logistics process. It's a great operation in which I have seen an institutional empathy between the Bolivarian forces and the electoral entities. We have been improving the coordinations, the level of coordinations, and we have been improving the actions nationwide, the deployment, everything that was established in the electoral agenda, the drill that was carried out a couple of days ago, all activities, a great number of activities of deployment of radial, lineal deployments of the National Electoral Council to the territory. It's a big time operation of weeks, of days, of months, and it is a very successful execution till now. It is a great effort, and so we have made it very with joy, because we are contributing to the strengthening of our democracy that is going to be represented in a free exercise of the Venezuelan people next Sunday, May 25. A fully democratic exercise to consolidate our democratic system abided by Constitution. And our democracy, you see that it has been improving with time. Our democracy is revolutionary. In the same National Electoral Council, the vote has been democratized. We have begun the revolutionary process. The voting centers, the polling stations didn't reach to the people. It has been an effort of the Bolivarian Revolution, as initiated by the constitutional process of Commander-in-Chief Hugo Chavez, in which the exercise of the vote began. And so today we have over 15,000 voting centers nationwide arriving to each community. And so this is a revolutionary process to democratize more the countries. And so this democratizing process is at the hands and led by President Nicolás Maduro Moro, when he has already ordered the direct revolutionary democracy with the people and from the people. It is a big opportunity, because this process is gonna elect governors that are the people who are in the territory with the people, with the persons that are with the people, that are compelled to work with the people. So our democracy has been living through an evolution process, a perfecting process, a growing process, a democratic authenticity, which is an example for the whole world. It is a direct process in which the people itself decides its own destiny and participates, and asserts we have carried out the popular consultations. This is an example of loyal democracy and transparent democracy, authentic democracy. This democratic process that has been improving and evolving in this late 25 years, this process is gonna be ratified next May 25 with free elections, secret universal elections, to elect more than 500 posts among governors, lawmakers to National Assembly, legislators of the regional legislations. It is a great election, paramount for the country. So pay attention, dear partners. Let's go back to history. The importance of having an assembly, of having a national assembly at the service of the people that responds to national interests, the purposes of independence, sovereignty, a national assembly that monitors the politics, that exerts its constitutional functions, demonstrating patriotism and love for the homeland. We had a very nasty experience for the Venezuelan people, and I speak as a citizen and as a soldier because we suffered. The Bolivarian armed forces suffered the hardships committed from the National Assembly in 2015, and as a citizen I said that from that National Assembly they called to sanctions, invasions. They decreed and pronounced an interim president from a square. They designated an interim president, something like that. We could sum up as a conspiracy, but this caused a great damage to the people of Venezuela because as of there it was initiated the missiles against hospitals, against the welfare state, the social fabric of ours. So they launched missiles against the schools, against great missions. So the system of welfare that we have built, but undoubtedly it was a great damage, and so the people of Venezuela have to be aware to their vote, and so they have to be very conscious and taking into account that history teaches us lessons, and we must learn those lessons not to make the same mistakes and to advance in a safe and secure path towards prosperity, institutional stability, and democracy of our country. So it is going to be a great event in which over 400 troops are going to, 400 military are going to participate. It is a great mobilization, as the Attorney General said. The great participation of the senior Attorney Generals are welcomed to be part of this great team that works for the country. ombudsman, and all entities that are just partaking in this great operation of the Republic that has no other mission than guarantee the security of the Venezuelan people. Listen carefully, the people of Venezuela. Be certain to go out to the streets, to your polling stations, to assert your citizens' right of voting with absolute security, because it is guaranteed by the Civic Military Police Union. The whole Venezuelan people can go out to the streets because security, even though we have some threats, even provocations are there, we are going to guarantee security, peace, and stability of this democratic process on next May 25. In addition to this, the Bolivarian Armed Forces and the Security Corps have the responsibility to look after the electoral material, all this electoral material through which the votes is inserted, all the envelopes and all the infrastructure is responsibility of the security organs, all the security forces that are within this operation. Protection of the people, guaranteeing security, custodying the electoral infrastructure and the material, the electoral material. That's the big task we have. And these elections have a great particularity. We have already said it. With the ombudsman, it has a peculiarity that represents for us a mandate of the people, and it is about the election of the state number 24 of our Guayana Essequiba, in which we are going to ratify that the son of Venezuela is born in the Essequibo. We are going to ratify our sovereignty, our historical rights, our judicial and moral rights over that territory. And so we are waging a battle in each possible spaces in terms of politics and diplomacy. We are waging a battle to recover our Essequibo territory that has been always a Venezuelan territory that was inherited by our liberators. So we are going to reaffirm our sovereignty, our awareness, and it was a mandate of the people because past December 2023, the people just participated in the consultative referendum, and they said that that territory was ours, and then it was created the state of Guayana Essequiba. Speaking of Guayana Essequiba, I have seen some communiques of the Guyanese government in which it expresses that it has been exerted violence on their military, on the de facto line across the Cuyuní River. There have been 2 times investigated by the prosecutor's office, with a serious investigation opened, but we see there a deliberate act that is made up from the Southern Command, from the CIA, to just provoke Venezuela and to project Venezuela as an aggressive state. Let's not fall into these provocations. Let's not fall into provocations, dear siblings of the Bolivarian forces. There is a deliberate plan to get the Essequibo from us by force. And of course, we are going to be vigilant of the false positives, of the maneuvers, of the manipulations of the truth to make us see as an aggressor state before the international community, the big aggressive state against a people. And so if something we have at our blood is that we don't go out from our borders, but to give freedom, to give consensus, to project liberation among nations, sisterhood, to create emerging blocks of power. That's what Venezuela does with its diplomacy of peace. No, never to assault, never to plunder. We are anti-imperialist people. And always the hand of Venezuela, with its great feeling as a kind people that it is going to be extended to cooperation to discuss the great interest on through policy, and this issue of the Essequibo must be settled through the Geneva Agreement to find a practical, amicable solution between the parties to end this conflict. Dear siblings and partners, I wish you a successful operation, and I ask the senior officials to lot of supervision, lot of contact with the people, lot of accompaniment with the people, and to care for the elderly, the women, the pregnant women, a lot of special treatment for them, just to make the lines fast and protect our people. I wish you a lot of success, siblings and partners. I am sure that next Sunday we will triumph. Venezuela is gonna be victorious, democracy be victorious, and Bolivarian forces victorious. So thank you very much to all. Success to you all. Commander, you are authorized to deploy.
And with this, the Operation Republic has been officially deployed as announced by the Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez, making a call to all Venezuelans to go out and vote on Sunday, to go out and exercise their right to vote and elect their authorities and the path of the country moving forward, making a pledge and guaranteeing, affirming that security will be guaranteed. Let's return to the Defense Minister.
With the end to contribute to the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela through the electoral power to guarantee the political rights of Venezuelans during the electoral process, during the comprehensive elections of legislators to National Assembly, governors of the state, and legislators of the legislative councils of the regions in 2025. Abided by Article 55, 236, and 2 of the Constitution, as well as Article 2.5 of the Organic Law of Electoral Process, the Bolivarian Armed Forces, alongside the public powers, will accompany the National Electoral Council, safeguarding the security of voters, guaranteeing order, and so it will protect the electoral material to be used in the process. Likewise, it will provide security to all national, municipal, parish entities and all the infrastructure, and simultaneously it will be ready to guarantee the order of the homeland and the military defense nationwide. The intention of our Commander-in-Chief, by planning, supervising the strategic command of the armed forces as the top organ, is to just exert a joint operation with thousands of soldiers, military in the polling stations according to the events scheduled in elections, guaranteeing all human rights, public order, peace, and tranquility of Venezuelan families. This is going to be very defined, previous, during, and after, and by this deployment we initiate the second stage with 5 main events: deployment of electoral material, installing all voting centers, acts of voting, and deployment. One instructed and prepared nationwide, having 300 hours of instructions, and we have participated in the drill and other activities. We can assure that we are ready for the fulfillment of the mission, in which we guarantee the citizens participate in this direct secret vote as a constitutional right of Venezuelans to decide their fate in democracy. Bolivarian armed forces, security organizations, firm. Let's collect the material. To the deployment. March.
So we will listening live the order of the defense minister. He's commanded the authorities, the security forces, gather here as the Republic operation begins, and to go and deliver all the electoral material. We must remember that this comprehensive plan that involves different state powers are the ones that are going to be in charge from this moment onwards until the election day and after the election day, to guarantee the security and the correct development of these transcendental legislative and regional elections that are going to be held next Sunday, May 25th. Meaning we saw the statements from the electoral authorities, from the Ombudsman Office, and of course from the defense minister himself, explain what the mission was. The mission was to guarantee and to accompany the people during this election as they decide their future for the upcoming 5 years. We must remember this Sunday, Venezuelans will vote for their representatives, the National Assembly, for their legislative councils, and for the local representatives, their governors in each state, with a particular difference in this occasion, because for the first time also the 24th state of Guayana Esequiba will also take part in these legislative and regional elections, something that the defense minister was referring to during his statements while he was announcing that as well, that the security forces are also going to guarantee that this process develops correctly and the people of Guayana Esequiba can also take part in the election of their local representatives and their governor and representatives for the National Assembly. We're watching live the images as the security forces of the Bolivarian Armed Forces are preparing to deploy all over the country to deliver the electoral material. We saw the Vice President of the National Electoral Council reporting that the logistics for these elections have been completely guaranteed and that all is set and ready for the elections to take place soundly this Sunday, May 25th, alongside the different states' institutions that will guarantee the process to develop, like it was the Ombudsman's Office and of course the Bolivarian Armed Forces, which will guarantee the security. The Defense Minister, Padrino Lopez, called on all Venezuelans to go out on Sunday and exercise their right to vote, as they affirm that the security is guaranteed and that the right for Venezuelans to decide their own future, their own sovereignty, will be guaranteed as mandated by the Constitution. That's the latest information coming from Caracas. Stay tuned with teleSUR English. We'll have more updates in upcoming news briefs.